Chapter 1. Imagine standing on the deck of a small boat in 1901, off the coast of a tiny Greek island called Antikythera. Divers, seeking shelter from a storm, discovered a Roman shipwreck overflowing with marble statues and luxury goods. But among the treasures was a small, green, corroded lump of bronze that no one cared about. It sat in a museum basement for decades, a literal piece of junk. But as our technology improved, so did our ability to see inside the lump. What we found shouldn't have existed for another 1,500 years. Inside were 30 precision-cut bronze gears, perfectly synced. This is the Antikythera mechanism, the world's first analog computer. Before we get into the gears, we have to address the curious question everyone asks: was it aliens? Like the Great Pyramid of Giza, people often use myths to explain things they don't understand. But the truth is more grounded and far more impressive. This is a story of human design thinking at its absolute peak, a technology that was built, mastered, and then completely forgotten by history. Chapter 2. The Hardware, a masterpiece of systems design. To understand the device, we have to look at the hardware. Using advanced X-ray imaging, historians have mapped out a system that is breathtakingly complex. At its core, the mechanism used a differential gear system. To put that in perspective, this is a technology that modern historians believed was first invented in the 18th century, but here it was in 100 BCE. The user would turn a single crank on the side, and through a chain reaction of gears, multiple dials on the front and back would begin to move at different speeds. It was a mechanical simulation of the universe. One of the most genius parts of the design was a pin and slot mechanism. The Greeks knew the moon didn't move at a constant speed. It speeds up and slows down. To mirror this, they designed a gear that sat slightly off-center with a pin that slid in a slot, perfectly replicating the moon's elliptical orbit. This wasn't just a tool, it was visual storytelling of the cosmos in bronze. Chapter 3. The Software, Predicting the Future. If the gears were the hardware, the inscriptions were the software. The device had over 3,000 characters of text, a user manual etched into the bronze. What did it actually do? It was an astronomical calendar with 100% accuracy. It tracked the Saros cycle, a period of 18 years that allowed the user to predict solar and lunar eclipses down to the hour. But it went further. It tracked the Wanderers, the 5 planets known to the Greeks: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It showed their positions in the sky relative to the user. Perhaps most surprisingly, it had a dial for the Pan-Hellenic Games. It would count down to the Olympic Games and other major social events. This tells us the device wasn't just for scientists. It was built for the elite for society to stay connected to their culture and their gods. It makes history feel immediate because it shows that 2,000 years ago, people were just as obsessed with scheduling and apps as we are today. Chapter 4. The Great Reset. Why was it lost? This brings us to a predictive history problem. If the Greeks had computers in 100 BCE, why didn't the Industrial Revolution happen in the year 200? As Professor Jiang Media explores in the Law of Asymmetry, empires always fall. When the Roman Empire expanded and the Greek city-states were absorbed, the specific design thinking required to build these machines was lost to bureaucracy and war. History is not a straight line of progress, it is a series of peaks and valleys. The Antikythera mechanism represents a peak that was followed by a 1,500-year valley. It took until the Renaissance for Europe to even come close to this level of mechanical complexity. We often think of the past as primitive, but the Antikythera mechanism is a reminder that ancient civilizations were often more advanced than the ones that followed them. They engineered their own collapse, and their most brilliant designs went down with their ships. Chapter 5. The Conclusion of the Lump. The Antikythera mechanism isn't just a cool artifact, it's a warning. It shows us that knowledge is fragile. If we stop valuing research and design, we can lose centuries of progress in a single generation. Today, we look at this lump and see a computer, but for 2,000 years, people just saw a rock. Our goal at this channel is to make these facts memorable, to look past the myths and see the reality of human genius. The world's first computer wasn't made of silicon, it was made of bronze, logic, and a deep curiosity about the stars. If you want to keep exploring the curious questions that history left behind, make sure to subscribe. Stay curious.